Good morning from Mae Sot, Thailand. And I don't know if you are in the mood for another scooter ride through the countryside to get to a new coffee shop for my morning coffee. But even if you're not, that's what's going to happen, because luckily I'm in the mood and I'm the one riding the scooter. So I can go anywhere I want on this sunny morning. And that's another reason I'm going, to be honest. This time of year, it feels like we're shifting into the rainy season. And at any point, it feels like it could start raining and keep raining for weeks. So while the sun is out, you got to take advantage of it and go places. And I am going to a place called, with the very unusual name, the Dreamboat Museum and Garden of the Happy Dreams. So there's a little bit of a story to this place, but with a name like that, really, how can you resist? It's about 40 kilometers south of Mae Sot. So I'm heading towards the main highway, 1090. And this highway 1090 heads south and takes you all the way to Umpang, which is about, 6 or 7 hours driving away. But I'm not going that far. I could have plotted a route taking me through countryside roads, but for this morning, as I said, I'm going to take the main direct route on 1090. And that starts with going around this roundabout. Always a lot of fun here in Mae Sot. Remember the first couple of times I went around this roundabout, in the middle of the roundabout, you had to decide which road was the one, which exit from the roundabout was the one you wanted. And I kept making a mistake, and I would be picking the wrong roads and heading in the wrong direction. But I've got it all pretty well figured out now. I mentioned that there's a little bit of a story to go along with this coffee shop. And the story is a very simple one, but kind of typical of life, the kind of life that I lead. And I first heard about this place from a friend of mine in Mae Sot, because I'm always looking for new places to go visit, around Mae Sot. And a friend of mine kept telling me about this place. But as often happens, he really couldn't tell me anything about it except that it exists. So he said, yeah, there's this place. He goes there with his family, and his kids really enjoy it. And he says it's really interesting. And he said it's on, the major road heading down to Umpang. And the way he described it was in the vein of, you can't miss it. Like, you go down, you head towards Umpang, and there it is. And you'll recognize it because it has these, I think he told me, it has these two giant robot statues at the entrance. But as I kept telling him, I've gone down every road there is to go down towards Umpang multiple times, and I've never seen this place. He kept saying, yeah, you can't miss it, it's right there, you'll see it. And yet, every time I've taken one of these roads, I've never seen it, but he never knew the name of it. He never had a Google Maps pin location. He never had any more information about it. So that's what the situation was for a long time, for months and months, to be honest, maybe even over a year, until this morning. I just happened to be on Google Maps, as I often am, and I'm just letting my fingers roam around the countryside, zooming in on different areas here and there to see what's there. And this morning, absolutely by accident, I just stumbled across this place that I'm pretty sure is the place that my friend was talking about. And it has the very unusual name of the Dreamboat Museum and the Garden of the Happy Dreams. So now that I know the name of the place, I can't really fault my friend for not being able to tell me what it's called, because I've been trying to commit the name of this place to memory, and it's really hard to do because this name is just such a mouthful in English. The Dreamboat Museum and the Garden of the Happy Dreams. Well, I've arrived at the Dreamboat Museum and Garden of the Happy Dreams, slowly burning that name into my brain. And a couple of mysteries have been solved. One mystery is this idea that you can't miss it. Like I said, this friend of mine kept saying, you can't miss it, it's right there. And yet, I never saw this place. Like, I never saw these giant robots or anything like that. But it turns out he was half right, and it turns out you really can't miss it. Here's the place. Here's the entrance. And this place I have seen every time I've ridden by. Every time I've gone down this highway, I've noticed this place. I mean, look at it. Very large and elaborate and fancy, huge sign and a green lawn out front. But every time I went by, this is the sign that I saw. Let's go around the other side where the sun is hitting it. So this is the sign. The Kitchen. The Kitchen by Terayawan. So I always thought it was a really fancy restaurant. And a few times after going down this highway, right over here, I made a mental note to figure out what this place was. So I'd go online and I'd look for information about the kitchen, and I couldn't find any. I never was able to figure out what this place was. And it turns out that this is the place my friend kept talking about. This is the museum boat, or the boat museum, or the whatever this place is called. It's here, and you can't see the robots. All you can see is this fancy building. And as I said, I thought it was just a real fancy resort or a hotel, a restaurant called The Kitchen. But this is the place. So let's head towards the entrance and see what there is to see. So here is the entrance gate, and just beyond it, right there, are the robots. My friend kept telling me, just look for the robots, I think he said. But it turns out you can't see the robots from the street. You only see them when you go inside. So here's the sign, Dreamboat Museum, a museum that brings you marvelous experiences. During your visit, you will have a great time experiencing, as well as taking photos and selfies with extraordinary, rare, and precious collectibles from all over the world. Yeah, they have a parking area out front for your motorcycles. Another guy just showed up with a big motorcycle with all kinds of travel gear. And he's got a GoPro mounted on his helmet. Kindred Soul. And here's the entrance. And on Google Maps, it's listed as busier than normal. But I'm not sure what normal is, because right now, yeah, I hardly see anybody here at all. So I guess you can rent bicycles, you can get wheelchairs, four-wheel drive things, though I don't know how roadworthy these are. This one doesn't even have a seat anymore. Souvenirs, food and coffee, drinks and dessert. So I guess this is the coffee shop. And so far there doesn't seem to be any sort of an entrance fee. There's no ticket counter or anything like that. Looks like, okay, you can rent bicycles over there, I think. So, so there's one coffee shop. Maybe there's another one over there. I'm gonna get a coffee first before I explore the grounds. Probably an iced coffee. Okay, so here are the Transformers. Yeah, what they need to do is take this guy, this big guy here, put him out by the highway. That would be an advertisement. You know, I think that would get people to stop and certainly make the place more identifiable. Transformers. Really cool, actually. Those are nicely designed. And they weren't just thrown together. Someone really thought it through, and yeah, they're put together really well. A little guy and a big one. Oh, yeah. Look at that. I have wheels built into the base and all these engine parts, so you can imagine it folding down into some kind of a car or truck or motorcycle or something. Oh yeah, the car doors up at the top there with two more wheels. Yeah, someone spent some time. It's a labor of love. Coffee shop. Yeah. Nice. Planet Doug's eagle eye immediately goes to seating options. I like a variety of options. That's nice. Yeah, I like that little living room set. And then you've got a counter here, facing out into the park. Another group seating area. This one doesn't look quite as comfortable, but it's unique. Kind of giant wooden thrones almost. And I guess this could be a selfie station with the name of this coffee shop. Got a fox hunting for pheasants. I guess he shot that pheasant, but it looks more alive than shot. And this fox got himself a duck, but the duck looks equally, just the way it's posed. It's not posed like a dead duck. A ship, another living room area over here, and then some, yeah, more ordinary tables. I was tempted by the matcha tea and the fruit smoothies and yogurt smoothies, but just to start the day, I'm going to go with a hot coffee. So I just ordered a hot cappuccino. True test of any coffee shop, how well they do a cappuccino. And now my cappuccino is ready, and I think I'm going to sit at the counter just to enjoy my cappuccino. I don't generally like, like lounging chairs. You're too far away from the table where your coffee is. I like to sit at a counter or a high table, and then you can sit right up against the table. So this is my cappuccino. There's the presentation. Comes on a little tray with a cup and a bowl of fish crackers. Those little, goldfish crackers. My cappuccino and crackers. And sitting here at the counter, you get a nice view straight out the window at the transformers and the place in general. It's kind of funny being here. As I said, I came here just to have my morning coffee, and the rest of this place is just a bonus, plus the ride to get here. But it's clearly not a place where a young at heart guy like myself would come to, hang out here. This is a place for families. So all I can think of looking out over this whole area is I have no one to take selfies of me, with all the various objects out there. Not bad. Nice. Nice coffee flavor and hot. Very, very hot. Planet Doug approved. Glad I ordered the cappuccino. Yeah, they did a nice job with that. I'm pleased. Also surprised. It's been a long time since I've actually had a hot cup of coffee. Coffee that's supposed to be hot and was actually nice and hot. Yeah, it's pretty rare. Nice job. And this place seems to stick with a kind of a trend I've noticed in Thailand. When you're looking at the English names in particular, there's a lot of confusion for me about what a place is called. I can never figure out what the name is. So if I was going to tell someone, oh, you should check out this place in Mae Sot, it's called, and what is the name? Like, what is this place called? I have no idea. Is it the Dream Garden? Is it the Dreamboat Museum? Outside on the sign on the highway, it's The Kitchen. And then it has a name in Thai, which I assume means kitchen in Thai. I think, it's on the Wi-Fi sign here. This is the Cafe Terayawan Cafe. And I think the kitchen over there is also called Terayawan. And so what is this place as a whole called? I have no idea. As I said on Google Maps, if I can I remember, it is called the Dreamboat Museum and the Garden of the Happy Dreams. Is that what it's called? No idea. But anyway, you can't miss it. That's it, morning coffee done. Now we're gonna head out for the bonus round, just to walk around the park and see what there is to see here. All kinds of creatures. Here at the coffee shop, there's a teddy bear made out of spark plugs. How cool is that? Kind of looks like a porcupine teddy bear. And we got some sheep and rams made out of spark plugs. Yeah. Yeah, I guess there's a bit of a theme kind of pops up inside the coffee shop. There were some big sailboats, like old styles, 18th century sailboats. And there's a big wheel from a boat there. And I saw a photo of this online, actually, on the Google Maps listing, this giant wrench. And it's a wrench made out of gears and bolts. So that's kind of a cool concept when you think about it. A tool made out of machined parts. Yeah, it's kind of imaginative. Not a standard sort of object that you would find. I believe this is kind of a Garuda, you know, a guardian that you would find at a Buddhist temple, I think, like the bird-like ones. Quite fierce, I'm told. And I think they're called a Garuda or something like that. Yeah, some nice seating outside as well. And classic selfie spot. I don't have a friend to take selfies, but I do have a GoPro Jaws Flex clamp, so I can put my GoPro anywhere I want. It's got a cool speedometer there. Actually, it's not even a speedometer. They've adapted some kind of a pressure gauge, heat or pressure gauge of some kind. Very cool. You can get your whole family on here. Put a whole bunch of people behind. Yeah, very cool. That's what I was talking about. It's you think it's a speedometer, but it's actually some sort of a pressure gauge. Something classic you see in so many movies where the pressure is getting higher and higher and the boiler is about to explode. But check that out. The wheel is made out of a chain link. Huh. Again, I'm impressed. I mean, there's just a lot of imagination in these things. It's not exactly what you would expect. And this is quite cool. Looks like something Nicolas Cage would be riding in that movie. Can't think of the movie right now, where he's sort of a spawn of hell and yet fighting for good. Wow, that is really something. Check out the skull design around the engine block. Chains. A little bit of an alien vibe going on here, but again, made out of tools with fire decals. Oh. It's quite something to be sitting on here. Huh. I kept saying that this is not the place for a grown man such as myself, but just sitting on this is really kind of fun. I'm so used to sitting on a small powered scooter. Can't imagine what it would be like to riding something this big with this big an engine. No, and I said I really like the design. It's using machine parts and tools to build another machine. I like that a lot. Again, if you had kids, I think they would go nuts for something like this, to be able to sit on this. This is very exciting. All right. And continuing the tour, another very interesting thing. Look at this. Kind of a classic roadster, but again, all made out of machine parts, sprockets, and nuts and bolts and things like that. Oh yeah, look at the headlights. Very cool. Again, a rounded shape, but made out of tools and bits and pieces. And when I was coming inside the front gate, I saw somebody climbing inside. So I think the doors are actually, you can open them, maybe, and go inside. Not on this side. I do see hinges, though. Oh, look at that. The windshield wiper, also made out of wrenches. Maybe it was the door on the other side that opens. Oh, there you go. So yeah, it's just that the locking mechanism was kind of tight. Whoa! That is a heavy door. There's the interior. Climbing inside. Oh. Oh, this is awesome. Very cool. Yeah, all the gauges in here are like industrial gauges as well. They're not speedometers. There's a pressure gauge, another one, a compound gauge, whatever that is, another pressure gauge, a lot of switches, 3 pedals down below, gas, brake, clutch. Nice. I sort of feel invulnerable in here. It feels a bit like I'm in the Batmobile. And they have a steering wheel made out of machine parts as well. Nice. Very cool. Oh, I'll bet there's been more than one accident though, with visitors trying to open the door and then being taken by surprise by the weight of it and it slamming backwards. It's probably why it closes so tightly. It's probably been kind of knocked out of kilter a little bit when it slams back. But yeah, I like this thing a lot. So look at the detail in the design and the construction. A lot of welding, I'm assuming, went into building something like that. And calling it a Batmobile is apropos because look who's over here. Hey there. I thought maybe he would be made out of metal as well, but my buddy Batman is plastic. Hey, buddy. Oh. He's a little bit worse for wear. Kind of a realistic looking face though. Look at that. He's got quite a determined jawline there. Tough looking dude. Oh. Captain America over here. Oh. Do not touch sign down below. Yeah, I guess because of the material these ones are made out of, they're probably a bit more fragile than all the metal objects here. More spark plug art, I think. Spotted the sheep and the bear made out of spark plugs, but I think we've got a couple of gorillas here, also made out of spark plugs. I was just laughing because of the facial expressions. They're quite distinct. So we've got this guy here. Me and my buddy. And another one, but he's got a completely different look to his face. Looks a little bit friendlier. Again, yeah, made entirely out of spark plugs. Yeah, I think there is a metal frame underneath. So I guess the shape of it is made with this metal frame, and then they overlaid all the spark plugs on top. Yeah, very interesting idea. So it gives it a really interesting texture, almost like a fur, right? Look at this monster here. Huh? I was wondering whether you could climb in and get on the seat, but the seat is already occupied. Huh. It makes me wonder how this was made. Like, did they? Obviously, they started with the wheel, right? They probably had one of these giant tires, and then thought, well, what can we make out of this tire? And then did somebody sit down with a pad of paper and a pencil and sketch out this design and then make it? Or did it just, they just started building at random and ended up with this? But no, it actually looks quite well put together. I think it was a design that somebody thought through. Even to the point of shock absorbers. It actually has 3 of them. Spring there, kind of a piston shock absorber, and then one they designed themselves with like tubing. Nice. And dinosaurs. Again, I'm assuming this is metal. Yeah, hollow metal shell. Oops. That would be a nice selfie opportunity if they had a ladder and a saddle, you know, you could ride them around. Stegosaurus. And a sign that says, do not do what I just suggested. Climb on top for a selfie. A pink Stegosaurus. Very interesting choice there. And this is a mammoth. Yeah, a woolly mammoth. And yeah, they created the fur, the wool out of this strips of metal. That is very, very cool. Perhaps I'm easily impressed because I don't have a single artistic bone in my entire body, but you know, just for anyone to create anything that looks like it's supposed to is to me kind of a miracle. So how they put this together, I can't imagine, but yeah, very cool. Huge woolly mammoth tusks. Again, yeah, all made out of metal, welded together. I like the paint job too. The paint job gives it a really nice texture. Again, very cool. I wasn't expecting this at all. I didn't really have any expectations, but I didn't know they designed it all with all these parts. You know, like the outer edge is made by a bicycle or motorcycle chain, and then all of the interior is all nuts and bolts and random pieces of metal welded together. Even the claws and the toes, the tendons made out of chains, bolts, connecting rods, you know, looks like from inside an engine, like valve connecting rods or something. The legs made out of shock absorbers. A mini T-Rex. Nice. Kind of a bite-sized T-Rex. It's kind of nice having a T-Rex down at human size instead of towering above you. Ah, look at that rib cage made out of wheels, like the rims, wheel rims, and they yeah, bent them, each one going down to a point to make it look more like a rib. Little T-Rex claws. Very cool. Yeah, the way they designed the feet as well. And then they've got a T-Rex with skin. those teeth. Look at that, the entire length of the spine is made out of chain link. Some elephants. From a distance, I thought these were all elephants in kind of like the La Brea tar pits being sucked down to their death, but nope. These are happy elephants frolicking in a pool. Nice to see. Beautiful lake. Very nicely put together. Looking ahead, more pop culture. Chucky and I want to say Freddy Krueger. My brain is having trouble coming up with names this morning, but I'm pretty sure that's Freddy Krueger, right? The guy who attacks you in your dreams and has knives for fingers. Nightmare on Elm Street. Oh no, Chucky, he's been labeled with COVID. And what could be in here? Oh, Han Solo in carbonite, frozen. What's scarier than one Chucky? Two Chuckies. Iron Man, Spider-Man. I just saw the most recent Spider-Man movie, No Way Home, I guess, where, spoiler alert, though I'm sure this isn't a spoiler for anyone, since this was spoiled before the movie even came out. All three Spider-Men were in the same movie together. But I think that is the original classic Spider-Man uniform, the look to him there. It's not one of the new modern ones. Ah. And then classic street art. I like that. Another one of the wrenches for a classic selfie opportunity. And here too, a bench in front, so you could sit and have your picture taken with this classic village scene. King Kong. And here's the stylized version. King Kong. Yeah, similar fur design to the woolly mammoth. And then everything else made out of bits of metal. I could fit my whole body right inside his mouth. Yeah, I have no idea how large this place is. I don't know how far back it goes, but I guess we're going to find out. It's a nice garden area back here. This is a nice spot in the back garden area. Sort of a circular area with benches all around. But what I like about it is it's got a lot of shading from bamboo. You know, bamboo clusters. Where this bamboo is all growing together. And I have one of these situated all the way around. It's really nice. I was guessing in a recent video that bamboo kind of grows like grass, and I think someone in the comments confirmed that bamboo is technically a type of grass, which kind of makes sense to me, the way that it grows. Man, how far back does this place go? I can see some more areas going way to the back. Huh. This looks almost like it could have been a swimming pool at some point. Kind of shallow and clear water. Maybe not, it's just meant to be a garden pool, perhaps. And yeah, look at this. They have a nice spot where a stream comes in from the outside and then flows through the park quite nicely. Look at that. I don't know what this is, but there's a building located against the back wall. Maybe it's used just for special occasions because it appears to be closed off to the public. Yeah, nice building though, it's beautiful. Maybe it's yeah, used for special events here. And we've got some birds. Check this out. Hey there, buddy. How you doing? Well, that's really something. 4 different tones altogether. Wow. If you had a tip jar for that performance. Oh. This is the entrance to that building, whatever it is, or whatever they use it for, I don't know. Yeah, it's really beautiful. It's been a while since we've seen one of the creatures. And here's one. 3-headed dragon. And this is where the stream from outside comes along here. And I guess flows into the main pond over there. I'm on the other side of the pond from the main entrance, so from here we're looking back towards the coffee shop and the restaurant and the museum and the main entrance and the highway. And it looks like in happier times you could rent a boat and go paddling out over the pond. Don't see too many boats though. I see this one, which doesn't look exactly operational or ready to go. And I guess before I head to the museum, I should make an attempt to go out onto the island and check out the windmill. And I think I can do it walking around here. And then there's a bridge going to the island. I haven't been there yet. I think this building here is the museum. I've come all the way around back to the front again. A bit more of the nautical theme here with some propellers, anchors, and a ship's wheel. And the bridge to the windmill. Nice. Can't get up too high, but always like to get up as high as possible. Take a look around. Oh, and there's even a ladder inside to the very, very top. Ah, nice. Welcome, it says. And yeah, it looks, I only got a glimpse of it, but it looks like there's a ladder. Huh. And it's not blocked off. I'm accustomed to seeing things like this and then seeing at the very top, you know, that you can't actually go up there. But this is open. Almost at the top. It's a bit awkward, as always, with a knapsack and a GoPro in your hand to climb a ladder. Ooh. Gotta watch your head. Look at that. You can see right out the front where the windmill arms are going by. Very slowly right now. I guess there's not much wind. There's the ladder coming up. Huh. Very cool. All right, time to go down and head into the museum. Do this very carefully. Made it safely down. This is cool. Again, kind of the nautical theme. They carved the bushes here into the shape, or trees or something, into the shape of dolphins. Yeah, really nicely done. All right, final stop, museum. I like these guys. On second viewing, they're even more cool than I remember. It's getting me with him. Arr. I don't know, somehow in a fight, feels like this guy would win. He looks a little bit more determined, bit meaner. Yeah, in terms of a museum, like what in the world could this possibly be? Oh, let's take another look at Darth here. Get a closer look. He's got his lightsaber. Can't imagine, as I said, what the theme of this museum could be. I don't think it's a history museum. It would probably be just a whole bunch of stuff that they put together that they thought was cool. Yeah, a bit of a nautical display here, anchors. It's probably a real anchor, right? Yeah, I'm sure it is, and a real propeller. Suit of armor. And let's head inside. Wow. Interesting. Where do you start? I guess you start on the main floor. Cabinet of crystals. And there's a second floor. I think the word here is eclectic. On this wall, there's a display of old Singer sewing machines. They all look real to me. Some drums. And then an entire wall of suits of armor. These are probably all custom made, right? By somebody. But if you wanted 20 suits of armor, where would you get them from? A whole bunch of helmets. And then Japanese style armor. More armor. And mixed in with all this classic style furniture, I've got an old barber chair. Oh no, didn't even see that when I first walked in. There's a Egyptian Imhotep down there, a mummy in his sarcophagus. Guess I didn't go around that side yet. This place feels like it might have been built by an extremely wealthy person, you know, like a billionaire who just had a variety of interests and wanted to create something interesting for people to visit. It sort of feels that way for some reason. You know, as opposed to a strictly, you know, doesn't feel like a commercial sort of business that's here to turn a profit. It's more like a whim of someone to put this place together. Got all these wood carvings, animals, and then right beside an entire wall of beer cans. I assume from around the world. And then Hollywood. This is from Avatar, right? Sort of an Avatar figure. And another one. That is quite something. Oh yeah, clearly Avatar. There's the flying scene. Crocodile. And here's Imhotep. Oh, look at that. We're back into the design with metal. The covering of the sarcophagus is made like the statues outside with bicycle chains and other metal welded together. Imhotep. And keeping an eye on us over here is Frankenstein. And a full-scale model of crocodile. I think these are velociraptor eggs. And Tyrannosaur. Luckily, that thing is not designed to be triggered to clamp its jaws together if something goes in there. Or else I'd have lost my head. And this creature, I have no idea what this is. It's a pop culture reference to a movie or something. I don't know what it could be. All right, so there you have it. The Dreamboat Museum. And I guess that's a fitting name now that when you see the place. It really does feel a little bit like a fever dream. Such a mix of items and objects. And with that visit to the museum, I think I'll call an end to my visit here, my morning coffee. Pretty successful morning coffee, I have to say. There's a lot more here than I expected. Yeah, I enjoyed my visit here quite a bit. Me and my buddy the Hulk hanging out at the Dreamboat Museum and the Garden of Happy Dreams. Yeah, pretty nice morning. The rain has stayed away. And with that, I think I'll hop back on my scooter and roar back into Mae Sot. I'll see you in the next video.